Hello, and welcome to the Joy of Trolling. Today, we're going to learn to make this piece, which brought a lot of joy to an 8th tier poker floor. Feel free to troll along right at home. All you need is Adobe Photoshop and a dream in your heart. This white supremacist rally features an obese woman that bears a striking resemblance to KKKsearles. Let's go ahead and start cutting his head out using the Quick Selection tool. Sometimes the Quick Selection tool isn't perfect and only gives you a rough outline, but there's no such thing as mistakes, just happy little accidents, kinda like KKKsearles. We'll clean this up manually using the Lasso tool. Hold down the Alt key to exclude certain areas from your selection, and hold down the Shift key to include certain areas to your selection. We're gonna go ahead and get the top of the head here, make sure that's selected, go down to the bottom. This doesn't need to be perfect, just make sure you're getting the whole head, and we won't be needing any clothes. Now, we could just go ahead and cut it out right now, but the edges might look a bit rough or jagged, so we'll go ahead and use the Refine Edge tool to kind of smooth things out. We'll tweak some of these settings like radius, smooth it out. That sort of feathers the edges, so we'll use contrast to give it a bit of a sharper edge. Again, this doesn't need to be perfect either. The head will be quite a bit smaller. So now let's cut it with Control X and move on to the next scene. We don't need this whole scene, so let's use the crop tool and focus in on our subject. That's better. Now we'll zoom in and press Control V to add KKKsearles to the scene. Let's go ahead and resize them down. Keep them side by side as a reference point. Use the eyes, the nose, and the mouth to kind of compare. This part's pretty important, so take your time. To really fine-tune things and make sure that the size is just right, we'll make our layer transparent about 50% so that we can see through it and really compare the eyes, the nose, and the mouth just a little bit smaller here. Now let's take the smudge tool and start blending in KKKsearles' disgusting fat neck. This is what will really sell the look. Don't worry about smearing things too far. That can easily be corrected in the next step. Just go nuts. Now we're adding a layer mask, which basically just lets us delete things non-destructively. By using the black paintbrush, we can erase anything from this layer, but using a white paintbrush just restores anything that's gone. By the way, if you ever want that fuzziness with your brush instead of that hard edge, you can go into your brush settings and adjust the hardness slider. As you can see, you can also use the smudge tool on the mask itself rather than the actual layer. This lets us make a nice gradient with the transparency, blending that neckline even further. Now let's give our image some contrast. We'll make a curves adjustment here, punch down the mids, bring down the blacks, raise up the whites. Hey, just like our little rally here. Now you can use simpler tools like brightness contrast and hue saturation, but I prefer to use the curves tool as it allows for more control and it accomplishes all the same things. As you can see, we can also use the curves to adjust the red, green, and blue channels to really bring in some color. Now I know KKKsearles is from Missouri and that's not the most popular idea there, but this is really going to match up the two layers and blend his fat face into the picture. Actually, in the spirit of St. Louis, we'll go ahead and desaturate this a bit with the Vibrance tool. And finally, the bottom of that neckline's looking a bit bright, a little white, so we'll darken it with the Burn tool so it matches up with that shadow just a bit better. And there you have it. You can use the techniques learned today to do all sorts of head swaps. Have some fun with it. Add Marty to the rally. He seems like he'd fit right in. Until then, from all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy trolling, and God bless.